When I left stewardess Jean Davis at the airport, I made a mental promise to show her a court trial sometime this week. However, when I answered her call for help, I wondered whether she'd be in court as a spectator or as a defendant.
Miss Davis, are you sure there was no one else in the apartment while you were showering?
No, I'm not sure. But I don't think anyone else was here.
What's wrong, John?
The coroner's report raises some questions. Miss Davis, you admitted the gun that we found was registered in your name, is that right?
Yes, but all three of us, Sue, Claudia, and myself, we all chipped in for it. I told you, Lieutenant, we had a burglary here about 3 months ago, and I was scared.
I see. Now, the gun was kept in that desk over there, is that right?
Yes.
Who else was here when you came home?
Just Sue and Claudia, my other roommate, but she left for the airport right after I arrived.
What happened after Claudia left?
Nothing. I was late for my date with Ralph. I tried to phone him, but the line was busy, so I decided to shower first and try reaching him afterwards.
Where was Ralph?
At a bar, the Galaxy.
Miss Davis, when girls share an apartment, occasionally there are differences, friction over little things. Now, did you and Sue get along, or did you quarrel much?
Only the usual roommate kind of quarrels, nothing important.
What are you suggesting, Lieutenant?
Just this, Counselor. I find it hard to believe that she couldn't hear the blast from a .32 just 25 feet from where it was fired.
It's true, I didn't. I was in the shower. I wear a swimming cap to keep my hair dry, and it covers my ears.
After your shower, what did you argue with Sue about?
There was no argument. You're trying to make me say that I killed her. I didn't. She was dead. I found her dead.
John, it just doesn't make sense. She couldn't have created a more incriminating situation.
Really? Makes sense to the coroner and my fingerprint man. Now, there's no evidence to show that anyone else was in the apartment. No sign of a struggle. The Harrington girl was shot through the back by someone she knew. The gun was wiped clean of prints and placed in her hands. A pretty clumsy attempt to make it look like suicide. Sorry, Miss Davis. I'm going to have to hold you for further questioning.
Scott?
I couldn't believe it when I got your call. It was confirmed when the airline contacted me.
Miss Scott, when you left the apartment 2 days ago, was everything between Sue and Jean all right?
Yes.
You're sure about that? There wasn't any quarrel, any trouble of any kind?
Well, at that point, I think everything was settled.
What was settled?
Miss Scott, no matter how you may feel about either girl, it's very important that you answer the lieutenant's question.
About 2 months ago, Jean started dating a man that Sue had broken off with.
You mean Ralph Daly?
That's right. How did you know?
Look, Miss Scott, I want you to think very carefully before answering this question. Is it possible that Sue could have been dating Daly on the sly without Jean knowing it?
I guess she could have while Jean was away on a flight. I mean, Sue had dates, but I never saw who with. She never brought them to the apartment.
I don't know where you got your information, but it's all wet. Ralph's been flying for almost 15 years, and his record is clean, completely.
Then why did you persuade Sue Harrington not to report him to the airline?
How did you hear about that?
We hear, Tony. Now tell us what happened, and we want the truth this time.
All right, Lieutenant. We had a layover in Miami the night before the return flight. Ralph ran into an old wartime buddy. He picked him up at the bar, and they went out to dinner. Well, anyway, Sue saw Ralph walk into the bar, and the next day on the return flight, she came up front just when Ralph got pretty sick. Well, she thought he was drunk and threatened to report him.
Well, was he?
No. Pilots don't have drinks the day before they fly.
What was wrong with it?
He had food poisoning.
And why did he take the flight?
Well, he thought he was okay, but we ran into rough weather. He wasn't sick until we were airborne. That's one of the reasons we have co-pilots. I was there. That's all you want. I have to go aboard.
Oh, wait a minute, Tony. We're not quite through yet.
You know, I don't get it. What's all this got to do with Sue's murder?
If Sue had threatened to expose this incident to the airline, Ralph would have been through, all washed up, wouldn't he?
No, of course not. My statement would have negated anything she could say.
But they couldn't very well completely overlook the implication, could they?
No, they couldn't. Ralph would have been under scrutiny. So what? He had nothing to hide. Besides, Ralph couldn't have committed the murder. I took him over to Jean's apartment, waited for him downstairs in the car, and then I drove him back to the Galaxy, and I was with him there all the time. In fact, I'd just gone over to another table to talk to a girlfriend when you walked in.
Why didn't you tell us this in the first place?
Thanks for wasting our time, Bill. Well, Counselor, I must admit, when you crack a case, you make a nice clean incision right to the heart of it.
Has he got a record?
No, but the New York police have been quietly checking up on a William B. Tyler. He works for a chain of clothing stores in New York, Philadelphia, and Miami.
Does he live here?
No, New York. He's in Miami now. He's expected back late tomorrow afternoon. Now, you hold on to your seat. Mr. William B. Tyler has a wife and 2 children living in the suburbs in New York.
Very good.
It appears that way.
Does his description tally with the one at the resort?
It sounds like it.
Looks like our man.
Bigamy's a felony, Herb. If I can prove it, I'll arrest him on that, and once I pick him up, I'll get the rest.
I don't think that'll be necessary, Lieutenant. I'm sure I know how to make him confess before you pick him up.
Good.
You get your hat.
Thanks.
Not at all.
You enjoy your last honeymoon, Tyler? The one with Sue Harrington?
And I loved her.
That's when you made your first mistake, Tyler.
I did love her. But she found out I was married. Wasn't bigamy enough? Did you have to kill her?
I would have worked it out. I was going to get a divorce. She pulled a gun on me. What? You don't understand. She'd have killed me. It was an accident.
Now, why you shot her in the back to make it look like an accident? All right, take him to the car. Herb, why? Why do these guys always say, you don't understand?
Final call, flight 732.